What's up guys, it's BB. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited for this video today. I've been planning something like this for a while, but I never really knew how I wanted to execute it or organize it, but I'm super excited to finally sit down today and do this. And this is going to be me recommending some smaller electronic music artists to you guys. For those of you who didn't know, I interned in A&R for the second half of 2020 last year. If you don't know what A&R is, it is artist and repertoire. It's just artist scouting. I did it at a label, so I was scouting new artists, electronic artists. It was an EDM label to sign new releases from, and it taught me a lot about music discovery and finding smaller artists and really getting into the dark depths of SoundCloud to find some of these people. I was just thinking about it, and even after I ended the position, I saved my A&R documents, and I actually ended up just making a huge spreadsheet with, of course, the people that I discovered for that job, but also just artists that I discover on my own time outside of work. When I tell you, this list, this spreadsheet is never ending. I have so many artists, so many amazing talented DJs and producers, and I just decided why not share that with the world. So I'm probably going to make this into a series. If you guys are interested and liked this, please comment down below if you want more, because I will definitely make more. I have many more artists to share always. But today I picked somewhere between 15 and 20 that I'm going to talk about. I organized it between mixed genre, bass, and house artists. If you want to see genres outside of that, like if you want to see smaller trance artists and hear those recommendations, also let me know that as well, because I kind of just reserved this particular list for house and bass. Obviously then there's subgenres of those two, which I'll talk about. I hope you guys enjoy this. After each artist I talk about, I will briefly put a snippet of one of their tracks so you can kind of get a feel for their music, and then if it speaks to you, I will have everyone's Spotify links in the description, so you're welcome. I'm gonna talk about the first one very quickly, because if you don't know who this person is, bruh, you absolutely need to. And that is More Kismet. So More Kismet was Dancing Astronaut's breakout artist of 2020. Amongst many other things. They've been featured many times on EDM publications and media outlets now. They're incredible. They're a non-binary artist, huge representation for the LGBTQ community. They don't really have a specific genre. There are some house tracks, there are some bass tracks, experimental, like there's everything you could want. They're so versatile, and on top of all of that, they are only 16 years old. Let me tell you, there are a lot of producers who are young and very talented, but 16 years old, and that's not even when they started, you know, like they just turned 16 recently. They were 15 before. That is young, and to be that young and have this quality of sound is so fucking beyond me. Just so unbelievably talented. If you haven't checked them out, links down below. Next up I have Xander. So again, spans across multiple subgenres of electronic music. There was some house, some bass and experimental tracks. There was even a D&B track. I believe he's American. I think he's from North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Just has so much music to check out and is definitely a smaller artist. So yeah. Alright, let's move into the house music, shall we? So first up I have Hooders. Hooders has been gaining a lot of traction recently. They are a trio from Belgium. They just had a couple new singles, which I featured in my last monthly playlist video, which you should check out if you haven't already. They've also been featured on Mala's Illegal Mixtape Volume 3. I had my eye on them for a while. I just think they make amazing music and their sound quality is great. One of my favorite tracks is called Money. Very tech house vibes, influences, a really must listen if you haven't heard of them already. Okay, and then we have, here's the thing with, hang on. The thing with French producers and DJs is that I feel so stupid pronouncing their artist names with an American accent, but my French is shot. I have not spoken French in years. I have no reason to anymore, so I'm not gonna make a fool of myself and pronounce this with a French accent. The next artist is Laozin, but I suppose if you were pronouncing it the way it's supposed to be pronounced, it would be laozin. I could be entirely wrong. I hope he never sees this because I just embarrassed myself. But he's a French producer and DJ. He makes super cool beats, and he's been featured on some really dope labels. My favorite track of his is called Bass Flowing. It definitely has like a UK garage house feel to it, which is my particular favorite subgenre of house. I would say I'm mostly into that and tech house if it came down to it. He definitely moves through different subgenres of house in my opinion, but overall amazing sound quality, definitely a must listen.
Brains, drop the bass.
And then I have Alicia. She has the coolest like club sound. She is a British DJ and producer, seems to play a lot of shows in the UK and just be super well versed, well connected in the industry over there. One of my favorite tracks of hers is called Existence, and she just seems super cool, has a lot of engagement on social media, which is awesome.
Edge of infinity, the edge, infinity.
Another French one. There's so many good French DJs and producers. There's so much talent coming out of France right now. I swear to God it's in their blood or something, because a lot of them are also so young when they start releasing music. His name's Frata. I'm not gonna try and pronounce it with a French accent on that one because woo, it's not gonna work out. He has a very cool like disco house, French house feel to his music. He was also featured on that Mala mixtape I just talked about, and he was also featured on Mala's album of OCB remixes. Overall, really great vibes. I love his sound. I think he's gonna go places this year, so definitely a must listen. Okay, next up I have Stone, who I have a friend Christina who works as an artist manager, and she actually works with him. Hi Christina if you're watching this. But he's so cool. He actually has a track with laozin and it's called Good For Me. It's so dope, and he's also pretty young. He's from California, I believe. Super nice guy. Also has, I think, a newer track with Dread MC that is super cool. Maybe I'll insert that one after this, but yeah, awesome sound. And then I have decor. Such good deep house. If that is the subgenre that you're into, this guy, you have to go listen to his music. My absolute favorite track is called In Motion. I think I featured it in one of my playlist videos from a couple months ago actually. I think it was from like way earlier in the fall. I'm just obsessed with that fucking song. It is so good. I believe he's from Brooklyn, so New York represent. And honestly, probably one of my favorite artists on this entire list. So if you're gonna listen to any of these people, I highly recommend decor. And then I have This Is Krob. This is a Dutch DJ and producer. He has played shows in a lot of different countries, but he's still small on streaming platforms, at least on Spotify. He does have his own monthly radio show, which is cool, and the track that's on Spotify is called This Is Brazil. I just think it's different from a lot of other house music that you hear. The drop has a really cool melody line to it, and I just really love that track, so. And then I have a DJ called You Knew. I believe he's from Vegas. Most popular track is called Like Me, and it's on Spotify. I think it has over 100,000 streams. Just very cool tech house vibes. He's had releases on cool labels. Actually, my favorite track of his, which is called Nobody, was on Gold Deeper, so really cool.
DJ, give me one more song.
And then I have Kislaw. Kislaw is a French producer. I got more into his music through Beats Inclusive actually, because we featured his track Glitter, which came out recently. It just has such a feel-good vibe to it. And there's definitely some pop and R&B influences in a lot of his tracks. So yeah, it's just different from a lot of other house music that you hear, and I've really been enjoying it. So yeah. And then I have Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a Portuguese DJ and producer. He blew up in 2020 because he had this track called Isolation, which was like a COVID themed track. It broke 1 million streams on Spotify. I think that's how he gained a lot of traction. But then he's also been featured on a lot of really good labels like In Rotation, Confession, etc. I've also talked with him a bit on Twitter, and he's just a super nice dude. I think he's gonna start popping up a lot more in 2021. Very clean sound quality. I think he's gonna go places.
Just like this.
Lastly, for house, I have Artique. I found Artique through TikTok, as I think many other people did. Just all around feel good house music. And AC Slater actually played his tracks on a couple of his live streams, so now Night Bass has kind of picked up traction on him a little bit, I think. All around super cool sound, and I really enjoyed his music. Okay, now moving into bass, and obviously there are different subgenres of bass, so I have some dubstep and then I have some future bass we'll talk about. First up is Stonedlevel. I discovered Stonedlevel like honestly at the beginning of quarantine last year. Someone recommended him to me on Twitter, I believe, and his dubstep is just clean, like super good sound quality. I believe he's from Quebec, I'm pretty sure. He's been featured on Subsidia now, which is incredible, and I knew he would be because his sound quality is just so good. My favorite track by his is called Pain. The drop is fucking insane, honestly, and I just think that Subsidia and Excision are keeping tabs on him, and I think they're gonna amplify his career a little bit, so I think he's definitely gonna go places this year. Definitely keep him on your radar if you're a dubstep person. I wouldn't be surprised if he played Lost Lands whenever it happens next. Just super, super cool dude and amazing, amazing dubstep. Next up, I have Jessicaottafrad. I know that she's not really a small artist anymore, but I just fucking love her. I think her sound is amazing. She's been featured on Subsidia more than once now, and for good reason. I mean, she just makes amazing music. Her most played track on Spotify is actually a house track, but then other than that, she's a bass artist, and I would love to see a live set of hers so badly. I think it would be so much fun. Her music just has an energy to it that I think would translate so well into a live set, so I would definitely love to see her. Next I have, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Aeon or Ion, so I apologize, but I think it's Aeon. I think that would make the most sense. But he's a much smaller producer from, I think he's from New York actually, so that's dope. He recently released a new album. I discovered him through All Time EDM, I believe. He did an exclusive release with them, and he's just a must check out if you're into future bass, more vocal driven, melodic bass music. Some tracks of his that I like. I really like Reality. I think that's the one that got released on All Time. Starlight is really good. Follow Me is really good. Just all around cool sound. Finally, again, I know they're not really so much a new, well, he is a still new artist, but a lot of people are finding out about him, so he's not so much undiscovered anymore, but Feather. Most people found Feather through TikTok. I feel like he really blew up on there, and for good reason. I think he makes great music. He recently put out an EP called Becoming. My favorite tracks were Keys and Where Are You? Basically, if you're into Illenium or Said the Sky, this is the guy for you. Really pretty melodies, and again, very vocal driven, just like very good vocals, cool lyrics, cool writing, and I think he's gonna go places this year very much. I mean, TikTok has already done a lot for him, and again, for good reason. He deserves it. He's so talented, and I also see him on social media a lot, just engaging with fans and just being really authentic, and I think that's awesome, so good on him. Alright, so that was this video with all the artists I'm going to talk about today. Again, if you want to see more parts to this, because I have many more artists to share, then I can definitely do that, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, my Spotify, my SoundCloud are linked down below, as well as all my socials if you want to connect with me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.